What up, y'all? Dr. Evil Genius here. Episode 44 of the Talking Shit podcast. Normally, I'd be sitting in this room by myself, and they would be struggling. Talking Shit podcast. Dude.
Guess I just fucked that up.
Hey! Yeah, so normally she'd be like, damn, I really wish I could hear myself think. What's going on in that room, right?
Or not think of anything.
Yeah. But she's here. Captain Paul has had a pretty rough go of it. He suffered a pretty debilitating injury. It's damaged him structurally. Lots of pain. And so it's been really difficult for him to even focus long enough to really produce content right now. So, we're basically here to show some support for Captain Paul. And, you can tell it's because it's difficult. Let me tell you, right? For me, I can host a show by myself, no problem. But I asked the lady here, hey, can you, come in here for episode 44?
Whatever number we're up to.
Yeah. And then she's like, I don't want to be on camera, man. But, she's agreed
just
to...
my arm enough, maybe.
Yeah, but, she's very flexible. So...
I wish I really was flexible, though.
Arm twisting doesn't hurt?
Actually, I would probably feel great right now because my shoulders are really tight.
Oh, well. And
anyway,
a lot of it has to do with a lot of the work that you do all day. We're going to touch on some of the technical aspects of what she does because I found a pretty interesting article that I guess it'll be a combination of a PSA. Definitely get a password manager. Stop using the same passwords over and over and over again. But a certain password manager had some problems, some technical issues. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, Captain Paul, we all love Captain Paul around these parts. It's just a really difficult time for him right now. So, she's the hero that you want and the hero
shit, I didn't wear
that
a
you
cape.
Deserve. Oh yeah, you do
I
have
actually
that.
own a cape, but it has the Velcro.
Yeah.
So okay, next time I'm gonna get a T-shirt with a cape. That'll be good.
Yeah.
But we miss Captain Paul.
Yeah.
And this would be a slightly different TSP than what people are used to seeing.
Yeah, a little different. Speaking of Captain Paul, he sent us the wedding invitation for next year.
So sweet.
So I talked to him today.
Is he the one who wrote on the card? Is that his
I didn't ask. I didn't, because the thing is, I looked at the handwriting and I was like, if Paul wrote this,
that's his handwriting.
It'd be like, listen, this is so important. I must write super slowly to make sure it looks super good, right?
The handwriting is
great. Yeah, but he doesn't look like the type of guy that would have handwriting that clear.
It's legible. That's the way I describe it.
Yeah.
The person at the post office was able to sort.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it ended up here.
It ended up here, so it was legible enough. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dean.
So we got I got the little postcard in the mail, the wedding invitation.
Date.
Yeah, we got the wedding invitation.
I almost wish he was here so I could just see his face.
Yeah. As
we embarrass the shit out of him.
Yeah. I was talking to him on the phone earlier, and I'm like, dude, that this is a +2, right? Everybody else is going to have +1s. This is a +2 situation. Okay. It's been a while since episode 43. And
Actually, it's been a minute for Jimmy Dean. I don't think we
Yeah,
saw
we
him
haven't
in the
seen Jimmy-
past
yeah.
couple of MMA shows.
Yeah. So, it's summertime, right?
It is summertime.
So, but it's good to have you here, Jimmy. So yeah, we got the save the date. We got the invitation. I'm glad that he's not one of these fancy smashy people. We need you to RSVP.
It's just you calling him. You're like, we're fucking coming.
Yeah. Like, hey,
We're
we'll be
coming.
there. I might show up in a tuxedo T-shirt, but
At least we'll show up.
I mean, I did show up to your dad's wedding
Well,
in
yeah.
a tuxedo T-shirt.
I mean, and then after that, we went to a bar.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a real restaurant, but
it was.
the bar was right behind us.
It was literally right behind us.
Yeah.
And the food was carbs and carbs and carbs and carbs.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
And meat. There's a lot of meat.
Meat.
Yeah.
Very Arby's, but more delicious than Arby's.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Well, we has the
high quality.
So anyway, what did Jimmy Dean say?
Yeah. There can be no plus twos, only even numbers. Doc's got to bring in extra sausage. I know a guy. Oh, man. Jimmy Dean is Jimmy Dean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're hoping the very, very best for Captain Paul. And I know that I am very grateful to have Mrs. Evil here. So, thank you very much for coming to hang out with me to do episode 44. The guys, you got to understand something. The two ladies here have done so much to try to make doing this podcast more efficient, more efficient, and a little bit more palatable. The other lady has been making thumbnails for us, but she just tested positive for the Rona yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, none of us have ever had the Rona. Now, you tested negative.
I tested negative.
Right.
Well, she's we've been calling people who haven't gotten the Rona yet the unicorn.
Yeah.
So I sent a text to my friends who we had hung out with.
Lost a unicorn.
Yeah, I was like, unicorn down. So, you and I are the last standing unicorns of
The
this
last
house.
of the Mohicans.
The last of the unicorns. But she is miserable in the other room, and we have all the windows open.
Yep. Because I don't want the Rona. I mean, I know the Rona wants all of us, but it's an unrequited love. It wants to get inside you and become one with you down to the RNA. But I'm uninterested. Sorry. You're not getting my consent.
Oh,
So,
God. But hi, Bruce. I love your greetings.
yeah. So the other lady, she's been creating some really great thumbnails for the MMA show, and we're very thankful for her efforts. Klink's made the
tonight's thumbnail.
yeah, he made.
It's a great
took
thumbnail.
a while.
Yeah,
to get
but
it out.
it was still a day turnaround time. But we also did make the request last minute.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that you put it together.
Yeah.
Same day.
Yeah, but come on, Clinks. But yeah.
I think Bruce is the only person where we appreciate the threats.
So the message from the other lady says, "Be nice to sick yang," which is like how they talk about cats in Korean.
Oh, it's how yeah. They don't say meow in Korean. They say meow.
Yeah.
That's their cat sound.
Yeah.
Be
So,
nice to sick. Dr. Evil exclamation point.
Yeah. So
Poor thing.
yeah. So she got all rounded up, and so she wasn't able to make the.
Coughing in the background, you know why?
Oh no! Like the walls are a little bit better here
Okay,
than most of the places that we
coughing.
Yeah, but hopefully the Rona doesn't.
So we have to put
Yeah.
towel at the bottom.
Like we had to do the last place that we lived when.
So anyway.
Yeah, she doesn't want to remember
What's
that.
on the agenda for today?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So we went to City Field last night. That was a bit of fun. We got a win out of that.
Mhm.
That was what's up. Took your dad
Mhm.
to the game last month.
Versus the Yankees.
He says, so is that the 49th Coheed shirt you have, bro? If my count is accurate, I think it's like 86. This might be my 86 shirt. I mean, if you combine the shirts and the hoodies, it's 85, 86.
No, but he says, you have 44 plus all of the MMA watch parties, and majority of those were Coheed shirts.
The majority. I haven't worn like all of them.
How many MMA shows have we done? Damn. Oh, Bruce is trying to start a fight. Of course, Bruce is.
But the thing is, the team that he's championing, they're not crushing anybody.
I don't know.
Although I will say, I do love how they have this group of core players that are the sons of former major league ball players. They have, I think they have Craig Biggio's son on the team. They have Vladimir Guerrero's son on the team, and Dante Bichette's son on the team. So it's kind of nice to see like the next generation, and they're all pretty decent players too.
Yeah.
Although I'm thinking that something might be wrong with Vlad because he's not like crushing the way he has done in past years. But me and Ms. Evil, we sat and we talked today about trying to get season tickets for next season and see if we can budget that in.
Yeah.
But it's a nice environment. Most of the people at the games are pretty nice. When I talk to Yankees fans or people that have been to Yankee Stadium, they really don't like the experience of being around Yankee fans for whatever reason, because they're douchebags for the most part.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, somebody, being super ultra mega poor, took me to a Yankees game, and the Boston Red Sox were in town, and there were fights in the stands. Someone poured a beer on me when I was and I was traumatized, and it was just kind of like, yeah, I don't think I'll ever be going back to Yankee Stadium when the Red Sox were there. And then I took my dad to the new Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
What was that, like 2010, I think? I took my dad to the new Yankee Stadium. So that was like a really nice, I have not been there since.
Yeah.
The
only stadium I've been to besides Citi Fields was when I went to Cleveland for a work.
That's right.
For a work
You went
trip.
to the Indians game.
Yeah. And then so I went to a work conference in Cleveland, and part of the package was that we got free tickets to see a baseball game.
Yeah, that's right. I was
like, sure, why not?
And you did get some decent pictures of the venue.
You have really decent seats.
Your dad never took you to Shea Stadium?
No.
Wow. Come on, man. Come on.
This is really on his Blue Jays.
Oh, yeah, he really is.
Although we're losing to the Angels right now, we have won most of our games recently.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've been doing pretty well. The Yankees have been slumping pretty hard. So, but I think the Blue Jays are in a wild card spot right now. But the Yankees are just too damn good. Even when they're bad, they're good. So yeah, we're trying to see if we can make it work to get the season ticket package for next season.
Well, no,
the prices for the playoff tickets were insane. For 2 playoff tickets per game, right? If you go all the way through the World Series, was as much as 41 games.
Damn.
For the next season's ticket prices, which I thought was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Over $8,000.
No thanks. I could do something else with that $8,000.
I mean, do I really want to be like sitting there cold as fuck? And then, like, do you even give me my money back if you guys, get bounced in the division round or something? Like, I don't know.
Well, actually, during the off season, I will be back at Citi Field.
Right, because you have.
I have the Spartan race in November.
Right.
So yeah, I visit Citi Field more often than I expected I would.
Right. I mean, you have a medal, and it's kind of got like the orange and blue. I think it has like the home run apple on it.
Well, the ribbon
Yeah.
for the medal has
Yeah.
Mets stuff on it. It's pretty cool, and it's cool to do the events at Citi Field because you see the stadium in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So I look up at the nosebleed seats, and for me, when I see nosebleed seats, I'm carrying a weighted bag, or something, and I'm climbing up and down and going up and down the stairs. So I view it from a different perspective, which makes the experience nice to go for whatever reason I go. But it's cool. And then I'm thinking about all the steps I'm going to do in November, which I'm not prepared for.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Actually, the price that I quoted was for the season ticket holders.
Mm-hmm.
If you opt out, the discounted price is $12,000 for the playoffs, which is $6,000 a seat, and you may not even make it all the way through.
How much debt could we wipe with that $12,000? No thanks, guys.
So maybe next postseason, but we're trying to make it to where we can pay for the season tickets for next year, and then maybe go to postseason games.
Seat to see a Springsteen.
Yes.
Gracious.
Did you hear about what happened with the Bruce Springsteen thing?
No. So wait. So the 8K that you were talking about was for the whole.
Yeah,
season?
for 2 seasons.
Yeah, for 2.
No. For the postseason, for the playoffs.
But for the whole playoffs, like the
right?
Playoffs it's not just one game.
Yeah, but there will be max 14 games.
Yeah. So I'm just comparing to what Bruce put up, 8K per seat.
No, but
for one show.
But the thing is, Bruce. Did you hear about what happened with the Bruce Springsteen thing? So, this is really a Ticketmaster problem.
Okay.
Right. Ticketmaster saw that the demand for the tickets was going to be high, so they jacked up the price of the tickets. Like in they jacked up the price of the tickets into the thousands for one concert. And the whole thing about Bruce Springsteen to begin with is that he's supposed to be like the blue collar working man musician.
Right.
So to be charging thousands of dollars for a single ticket, like, dude, like what happened to like the whole, I don't know if he did Born in the USA. I don't know what fucking songs he does. I know that he's really popular with white people, poor white people, but that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Like charging thousands and thousands of dollars. And Ticketmaster basically said, well, we know that the resale market is going to sell it for this, but we'd rather get the money. So I thought that was pretty fucked up for them to do. And they, the band took a lot of heat from that because people were like, oh, Bruce Springsteen, is the one setting the prices. And that's just like, no. So, so yeah. Bruce said Bruce Springsteen's band is like 90% black, but that's not the target demographic, sir. Their target demo is poor white people, and that's the people that it appeals to. And a lot of those people are upset because they feel like he's gotten a little bit too big as far as like his perception of the stature, but I don't think that they truly understand that he doesn't set the prices. Right. But he took a lot of flack for that. And it's really a Ticketmaster problem. And so like anytime we go to like Coheed shows and we have to go to Ticketmaster, I'm not really happy about it at all. Because one day that's going to be us. Like they're going to be trying to charge, exorbitant, and they already charge crazy fees on top of it too. So I guess what we're trying to say is fuck Ticketmaster. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. I go through the MLB, I go directly through the team. And I think that the season tickets plus the parking came up to about $8,100. And
I think that's what you said. Cause then when I broke it,
the service fee is just $25 and you're not going to get that with Ticketmaster. you know. And the cool thing is like all the tickets are in the app, so I only have to like grab my phone. I did all the scan stuff.
Yeah.
He has a question. Why don't you diversify your T-shirts though? Like Nirvana is my favorite band, but I am good with one Nirvana shirt. I don't need 80 Nirvana shirts. I'm pretty sure that there's only one Nirvana design. I do have a couple of other band T-shirts, but the only time I really go clothes shopping is when I go to Coheed shows.
Yeah, but Coheed also does, or Claudio also writes comic books.
And I have a couple of those T-shirts, but I consider them Coheed shirts.
Right, but I feel like since they do comic books and other sorts of work that relate to the music or that tie into the music, that they have a really great variety of art on their shirts each tour.
Yeah.
Which, goes along with the storyline. So it's not just that you're purchasing the band shirt, but you are purchasing art that tells the story of, their comic / the lyrics, the music, which goes alongside with the comic.
Yeah. And I have almost as many Coheed T-shirts as I have pairs of sneakers. And when I I try to pair colors together. So my favorite band, I pair some colors together, and it's all good,
Most of my shirts are running shirts.
I said almost all. Almost all.
I mean, well, if they sold, some cool undies, I wouldn't say no. Some nice sports bras.
Okay. I mean, coming.
Cambria.
I mean, you have the. Yeah, I mean, they have some stuff that, if worn the right way at home, it'll get the blood flowing the places where it's needed for the situation. How many suits do I own, Bruce? I think I own like one regular suit and I own one tuxedo. I paid like $1,400 for that tuxedo. So that's going to be my main tuxedo. Clinks is in the building.
Dude, thank you for the thumbnail.
Yeah, thank you.
If you heard her earlier.
Yeah, also thank you for showing up.
Love it.
Show. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
So, that's pretty much what we do. Most of my clothes shopping, like if I need a new pair of jeans, which I buy once every 7 or 8 years because I run my jeans into the ground. That's why it cost $1,400, Bruce. I had to I chose the fabric and they took my measurements and they edited the shit out of it. I mean,
it's actually the photo on your
on my Twitter,
on your
Twitter. Yeah, if you go to my Twitter, you'll see my.
He's wearing the expensive suit in that photo.
Yeah, the tuxedo there. Oh, I think I'm also using the same picture on Discord.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah,
that's
so
the one.
you can check that out.
Car.
Yeah, you can check that out. So we're hoping that we can go to 41 games next year. Tuxedo is really formal. But the great thing about my profession as a personal trainer, I will never need a business suit to make money. Thank God. Okay. But yeah. That's in-house stuff. But we're trying to. So in Major League Baseball, there are 162 games, 81 played at home, 81 played away. So the season ticket package is the half season, and I'll be looking to get 41 games, which is about half the season.
Actually, if they had a tux for working out, that fabric would be amazing.
It would need to be. I mean, I have that tuxedo T-shirt, right?
And amazing.
I mean, I have a tuxedo T-shirt. Does that count? You
actually might be on. I know that's a ridiculous statement, Bruce, but you might be onto something. Because I'm just thinking, it would be like
But-
breathable fabric,
but
and you can move without it splitting in the thigh. Oh, he's supposed to take it up now.
it's really not a bad idea, right?
Oh, well, this is the
I have
tux T-shirt.
I have
This
my
is
tuxedo
different.
T-shirt. You
This
know,
is not the actual tux. This is not what he spends a lot of money on.
No, you wildin'. But I could wear these to my training sessions with my clients. That would be actually pretty hilarious.
Oh yeah, this was not intentional because Lutch is streaming right now too.
Oh,
It was not intentional. It was more of we're gonna stream sometime today.
we could not get the thumbnail that we needed in time to do this show earlier like we intended.
So you get 10 minutes each.
So yeah.
Whatever amount of time we appreciate, and Lutch will probably still be streaming when we're done.
Oh, absolutely.
Lutch streams for
Yeah.
like we have other things we're gonna do this evening.
Lutch really likes to argue.
I mean, if that's his thing, and there are people who
We don't
want
kink
to-
shame here.
Exactly. You know, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather other weird things.
Yeah.
But not arguing.
Well, I mean, you know, me and you, we went to IT school together in 2007, 2008,
Mhm.
right? And it was pretty interesting.
Segue.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Like, you know, we both were like learning to do like desktop support.
Yes.
We worked at the same place for a little while.
Mm-hmm. It was one of those. It was a trade school.
Yeah.
So it's one of those you study for 3 months and then you get an internship for 1 month, and fingers crossed you get hired.
Yeah.
And
Crash course.
Crash course. And thankfully, I am happy that I was one of their success stories
Yeah.
where I did get hired, and you know it snowballed happily.
And then it got
From
me
there.
hired
Mhm.
at least once.
Yep.
You know,
Then you snowballed happily,
right. I mean,
but in personal training instead.
right. Like I figured, like
It
I learned.
allowed you to.
Yeah, I learned the hard way that the office is not a place for heterosexual males. But
But at least one.
yeah, I learned that. Yeah.
9 to 5 trap.
And you know,
But at
so
least I'm home now for that trap, so I get to work remotely.
yeah, so you know, we did the thing with the desktop support thing, right?
Mhm.
I learned that I don't belong in the office, and you learned that hardware is not really your thing, right?
Yeah.
You went into
Databases with some coding. Yeah, just kind of random chatting, and we're going to segue into some articles that Dr. Evil found.
Yeah.
But yeah, my stuff is more in databases and programming.
Mhm.
I use the term programming loosely because I don't actually really program stuff, but more of working in systems where programming is needed. Some programming knowledge is needed, but I don't actually do any programming. I hope that makes sense.
Mhm.
I'm not a programmer, but I know how to code.
right.
I don't always have like this long-winded way to explain something. I gotta shorten that shit. So anyway,
You're the one that says I can't watch anime. I can't watch Dragon Ball Z. Too much monologuing.
so what are we doing now? What happened was
Yo, I watched 57 Dragon Ball Super episodes in the last 3 days.
And I can hear from the living room. I'm not even gonna mimic it, but you know the sound. And then they just go on and on and on and on, and it's like, just fucking do it. Just do it. I don't want to hear you yelling. Although you have great lungs. Just anyway.
I mean, well, that's how you kind of fell in love with like One Punch Man, though.
This really is just random chatting. You're right, Revile. Yeah. I'm hungry.
This is such a shit show.
Oh, we're gonna get sandwiches after this.
Yeah, actually, why not? Yeah. So also we watched this one anime because we had a particular viewer suggest that we watch this one anime called Cautious Hero.
Oh yes.
Right.
Thank you.
So.
Well, I don't know if he's still here or if he jumped to the other stream. If we lost him or not.
We could talk about it later. But anyway, yeah. So you've done the.
Clink said, "Don't get me started on anime." We're going to get you started on anime.
Yeah. So you went into software, and you've been learning a lot, like you said, the coding, but mainly dealing with databases and such, right?
Yes.
And so I remember because I have not seen my MacBook Pro that used to sit right there. I haven't seen it in a while because you said, hey, I need to test something with this computer, right?
Right.
So you use test environments and things like that.
Yeah.
How important is it to keep the security tightened when you're talking about test environments?
Well, in our test environment, and I really only speak to ours because I've really only worked in one industry when it comes to the sort of work that I do, which is higher education. And in our test environment, it is usually a copy of production, which now that I say it out loud, most test environments are probably a copy of production so that you can, and when I mean production, I mean that's the environment that is actually live that people are using, that the public is actively using. Normally it's a copy of that so that you can use actual information or actual user information to do your testing versus doing it in the production environment and potentially fucking up somebody's account if your environment has to do with accounts. So in mine, the security is very important because, like I said, it's a literal copy of the production environment, which means that if we are housing confidential information, which in higher education and most systems you probably are storing that sort of information like demographics, name, date of birth, address. You might be storing social security numbers, card information. If that is copied to production and that gets breached, then you have actual user information that is compromised.
All right.
So yes, security is really, really important, even in a test environment.
Right. So, this is, one of those things because unfortunately, yeah, we've got it. We've got an issue here. We've got an issue here. Oh, that's not good.
That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I'm weird, right?
That would be a perfect. Oh man, I was gonna be like, that's a perfect screenshot for the next thumbnail. No,
you just cut my face.
Yeah.
Like I cut you. Yeah. So, when we talk about passwords, it's like super important to make sure that you don't use the same fucking password for every fucking account.
Why you gotta say it like that for? Anyway.
So, I've always, tried to use like a password manager. It'll generate a unique long password that you'd have to use a pretty powerful computer to brute force it in order to get through it, right? I started out using 1Password back in the day, and then like its free option just kind of disappeared. So I was just like, well, if I'm gonna like use it, I wanted to find an option that was affordable, but also I could use it with a bunch of different accounts and devices. So we settled on LastPass, right? And looks like LastPass is having some problems. Hackers breached LastPass developer system to steal source code.
And to answer Clink's question real quick, I work in the admissions department. So the actual technical stuff that I do is I manage the system that is used to process applications. That's why I say, we do store confidential information because you have an applicant. And if you've ever filled out a college application, you know that you put a lot of
personal information
personal
on it.
information on there. But yes,
Vital
and
information
admissions.
even. Password management service LastPass confirmed a security incident that resulted in the theft of certain source code and technical information. The security breach is said to have occurred 2 weeks ago, targeting its development environment. No customer data or encrypted passwords were accessed.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is with LastPass, and how have you, like, has it proven to be convenient?
Oh yeah, it's really convenient. And you know, funny thing, I was talking to a colleague somewhat recently, and they saw that I was using LastPass, and they were like, "Of course you use LastPass because you're a technical person." And I was like, "Oh, well, just because I'm a technical person doesn't mean that's why I'm using it." I was strongly advised to use it. But anyway,
because I think you've eaten too many flapjacks when it comes to your fucking passwords, and haven't you? Right?
There were way too many. But actually, now that we're reading this one more time, I could see, like, I'm thinking about what they could possibly, like, why would you want the source code?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have access to actual user information. You don't have their data. You don't have their passwords. But just as I'm reading this a second time of why this fucking sucks, is that now they can figure out how that information is being stored, the security behind it, if they have your actual source code. I mean, they basically grabs the key to the lock, or potentially grab the key to the lock. To get that information.
Yeah, they say an unauthorized party gained access to portions of the LastPass development environment through a single compromised developer account and took portions of source code and some proprietary LastPass technical information, right? So, they're claiming that, hey, we got a handle on it. Mm-hmm. We've hired top men to investigate and to implement better security. But I mean, you're talking about fucking source code.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this is something that could impact people's ability to use the service, or otherwise keep their information safe?
It depends on what they're going to do with that source code and with that technical information. Like I said, there's a potential that they just took the key or a portion of the key, and if their intention is to use this information, use this code to really breach the system, then maybe they're trying to fill in the blanks to get the proper code in order to really, really breach the system. I mean, and if any technical people watch this and know way more about this, please comment, because I'm just filling in, I'm just making guesses at this point.
Right.
But please let us know your expertise. Please share.
But I guess one of the more obvious differences, like you said, in your test environments, you are dealing with personal information directly.
Yes.
And in their situation, like, they didn't gain any access to, well, LastPass claims that they don't even store the user information or passwords themselves anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty interesting. I mean, but it's like, how do you charge? How am I able to get access on all of these different devices if you guys aren't storing it?
Yeah.
Right. So what they're saying is the incident did not compromise your master password. We utilize an industry standard zero knowledge architecture that ensures LastPass can never know or gain access to our customer's master password. You can read about the technical information. The implementation of zero knowledge has any data within my vault or my user's vault been compromised. The incident occurred in our development environment. Our investigation has shown no evidence of any unauthorized access to encrypted vault data. Our zero knowledge model ensures that only the customer has access to decrypt vault data. So that kind of tells me that LastPass does store the data, but they don't store the key. They don't have the key that would decrypt the data. So they say that they don't recommend any action that we take, but that they are taking action themselves. And we're one of those 33 million active users, right? So I think that we always recommend that people do things the safe way, right? My recommendation is that you do use a password manager. I think that we've been using LastPass for about a year, maybe a little bit more than a year.
I think a little bit more than a year.
And I've had like really no problems with it. I've got a great browser extension here, access to it on the phone, on the iPad, the MacBook.
It only becomes a problem if you forget your master password, which someone did. She forgot hers. I think she forgot hers. That's okay.
Are we going to blame it on the Rona?
Let's blame it on the Rona, even though she forgot it a long time ago, but we're going to blame it on the Rona.
Yeah. So, when it comes to proper personal security, I definitely do recommend using a password manager. LastPass, it looks like, has had a bump in the road as far as their security. But it's one that I think I would probably still recommend. It's been pretty reliable for us.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues with it. I store a lot. We also have the family account.
Yeah.
So there are certain there's a shared folder where we're able to store usernames and passwords for accounts that we would like to share, like Netflix and Disney Plus streaming services that we all log into. So we all have access to those credentials.
Yeah.
Without having to be like, yo, what's your password?
Oh man, that was fucking annoying.
So that's been extremely convenient.
Yeah.
For us.
What's it like not using the same password for everything? What's that like?
Well, it's extremely convenient on my phone because then it just looks at my face, which is probably a whole separate conversation of password management with your face, which that could be turned into something else. But
you do know that if you look to the left or to the right, you can unlock your phone?
Oh yeah, because sometimes I'll get distracted and my phone is like, nope, I didn't get that.
Yep.
Or you should see me when I have my mask on and I'm trying to unlock my phone at the grocery store because I still wear it there. And I'm like opening my eyes really wide because I did do the facial recognition with the mask on. So I'm like, what I fucking look like with a mask on, and I look like an idiot on the street.
Actually, you look like a Mortal Kombat character.
I do look like a Mortal Kombat character, but I'm like, I'm not even gonna. Anyway, you could just imagine.
Yep. Yeah. So I just again, it's kind of like more like it's more like a PSA. LastPass, had a little bit of a hiccup in your security, but I still do recommend that you guys use some sort of password management or password creation service because motherfuckers stay stealing identities. I mean, it's happened to you, what, 3 times?
Too many times.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Not fun.
And if anyone has any suggestions for other password management companies, services, let us know.
Yeah.
Share the information.
Because sharing is caring.
Chime in to the PSA.
Yeah.
Password management.
Yeah. We're not done with the PSAs though. This is the issue that I wanted to talk about, especially now that I have a lady here on the show today. We're going to talk a little bit about women's health for a moment because yes, this is a men's platform, but we're not the type of men's platform that believes that we should be like separated from all of the women on planet Earth, right? We are, looking at things as if like we want guys to be able to interact with women with the playing field leveled. Right now, the playing field is not leveled for men. It's very much an anti-male playing field. So we want to level it so we can get to a place where more guys feel like they can, trust getting into situations with women. But even beyond that, right? Even if these guys are like, these women are like the worst of it, right? You still have a sister or an aunt.
I was going to say something like that.
Or a mother.
You have other women in your lives where you might need to chime in or come in to assist, because we've had situations where I've needed you to step in and speak to a receptionist or a doctor on my behalf because someone didn't want to listen to me.
Yep.
And one of those times I was 18, 19, and I probably looked like I was 15. So nobody was listening to me. And Dr. Evil had to step in. I forgot exactly what happened. I just remember I was really upset.
Yeah.
And you basically had to step in and be like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah.
In order for me to get the services that I needed that day. I think they were going to reschedule or something like that. And you were like, no, fuck that shit. We're here. Do it. And I, and they did it. So imagine if he wasn't there and I would have had to wait however long because they just looked at this child in front of them.
Yeah.
Who was actually a legal adult. So,
And, the reason why this story really stuck out to me is because I covered a story with Messiah on Black Power Magic Hour.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago about a young Black woman who ended up with terminal cancer because she kept telling them, hey, like I have these symptoms. And they kept saying, no, you're too young to have the disease. And I think like she's not going to make it to see 30 or something like that. Right. And, they were saying that it was like a racial issue. They were saying that, and the thing is, Black people are treated differently by medical providers. There are even medical providers, and I could not believe that this is actually something that medical providers, when I'm talking about medical providers, I mean doctors and nurses.
Right.
They believe that Black people feel less pain than everybody else, which is to me like, what?
Yeah.
What? That doesn't even make sense. But there are a lot of practitioners that believe these things, right? And so,
even though they went to school for medicine,
right? You would think like,
yes,
where
in the textbook does it say this?
I mean, you're gonna start talking to me about Santa Claus too, like the fuck?
Yeah.
But when I saw this particular article here, I looked and I was just like, I guess it's not a Black thing, right? Necessarily. And so, I think that it's important to bring up some of these stories because I'm pretty sure that you guys have mothers and sisters and aunts and cousins that you give a shit about. And I put it that way because for whatever reason, some of the misdiagnoses or misdiagnoses of these conditions have to do with the doctor's expectations of what diseases you'll be susceptible to based upon how old or young you are. So a 29-year-old woman with a lump in her breast says she was refused a mammogram because she was too young. Now she has stage 4 cancer. And most of what we hear, once we hear stage 4, just like, oh, how much time do you have left? Right? So that's not great. And so, I just kind of want to go through some of the things that that she went through. Felicia LaBounty was, I guess, she wanted to readjust herself because they certainly was not doing any hanky panky in the movie theater
Mm-mm.
because you would never do such a thing. As a lady,
Never.
right?
Well, actually, no, with cameras and shit, never.
You know, Chappelle Show had the thing where they had the dude cut a hole in the bottom of the popcorn, right?
So anyway,
yeah. And she said, "Hey, something doesn't feel right,"
mm-hmm.
and they went for an ultrasound, and the results came back clean. So I guess in the defense of the doctors, you can make a case like, okay, maybe they can't know everything.
But
right?
But a big but. And I think one of the things to highlight here is also, regardless of her race, look at where she had to go, a free clinic, and she's a person who did not have insurance.
Right.
But this could also happen to someone who does have insurance. But I think that is a detail that is pretty important as far as the, we'll keep going.
I mean, she's an international model, right? Mm-hmm. How could she not have health insurance? Because the shit is fucking expensive, right? Mm-hmm. But she knows her body better than the doctor, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, I think I should do this test that is not going to cause the fall of Saigon if you do this test. If you do this test on mm-hmm. my chest. Mm-hmm. Let's do this. Denied twice. Oh, you don't have a family history. And this is the thing about the family history, right?
Right.
Are we not getting more occurrences of cancer than ever before in human history?
Right. And right? I mean, this would be, it's not in her family history, but it is now part of the family history. If she goes on to have children or siblings or whatever, like, it starts somewhere. It starts with one person. So just because it's never been there doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Right.
Less likely, but not impossible.
But what I think about some of these things? Mm. I have this suspicion that if she was wealthy or had like this high grade insurance, mm-hmm. they would have done the fucking mammogram. They and this is something that happens to a lot of poor people, regardless of race. Mm-hmm. Some of the diagnoses that these doctors come up with, they're pocket watching. Mm-hmm. They're looking at how much money they think that you can pay for the treatment, and they're diagnosing people based on how much they think they can pay. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. But but the thing is, how you doing, Xenon? But the thing is, if you don't do the mammogram, which costs a whole lot less than chemo fucking therapy.
Mm-hmm. I can't see your beautiful face.
Right. I just don't understand why is it so hard? Oh, but we're not going to get paid. But if she's not there, you're not going to get paid anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, you have a chance to save somebody from a debilitating disease. Just do the fucking test.
Yeah.
How fucking hard is that?
Yeah.
But no other masses. Perfect blood work. They just called it a cyst. Mm-hmm. Now, you know a little bit about cysts, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think it's better to biopsy or to just ask a bunch of questions and wait for the answers later?
Definitely better to biopsy. And if it was a cyst, to get rid of it. I mean, just to be like completely, get a little personal here. I have experienced cysts in uncomfortable places as a woman. Mm-hmm. And one of those places was on the breast for me. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I discovered it, I had that panicky feeling of, oh shit, there's a lump on my breast. Mm-hmm. And normally when you feel that, it's this. And thankfully it wasn't for me, but they got rid of, I went to the dermatologist and they got rid of the cyst right there. So right. I don't know if for her the lump was too deep or whatever, but for me, they didn't tell me, oh, it's just a cyst, go home.
Right.
They're like, oh, it's a cyst, but let's take care of it. And they took care of it. And now I actively check myself just to make sure that I don't get another lump, because it could be a cyst, or, it could be something else. And, but Yeah, I mean, even if it was a cyst, there's something you can do about it. You
Right.
don't want that to just stay there.
Right. And what that
That's the
tells
point.
me is they're definitely diagnosing to her finances
Yeah,
instead of diagnosing to her body.
right.
And I just have a massive, massive problem with that. And it's just like, you know, I get that doctors need to be paid and all of that, but at some point, like, what happened to the Hippocratic Oath,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, I know you do no harm, but you're supposed to be going into there to do benefits for people,
Mhm.
to help people, and you know, I don't know, I just don't like that. But anyway, just 8 months later, diagnosed with stage 4, just 8 months later.
Mhm.
So had they done the mammogram,
Mhm.
they would have discovered it in stage 2 or 3, probably.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, okay, where are the apologies? At least
Right.
that, like, oh yeah, you know what? We kind of fucked up here. We learned a lesson here. And now she, you know, she's telling her story, and you know, she's still alive 6 years later,
Mhm.
but she is likely on chemotherapy for life. For those that don't know, chemotherapy is like voluntary poison.
Mhm.
They put poison in your body to poison the cancer cells in the body. So the way they see it is this, right? If they're able to dial the correct amount of poison, the poison will affect the tumors that are growing, will affect the health of the tumors more severely than the healthy cells and tissues in your body. So you're damaging your entire body so that you can damage what should not be a part of your body more than the rest of your body,
Mhm.
right? So imagine you have to take therapeutic poison for the rest of your life because they wouldn't do a simple fucking mammogram. And what do they tell women all the time about examining their chest?
Mhm. You should do it regularly.
Right.
While you're
and
in
then
the
when
shower.
you do it, you're like,
Yes.
don't worry
Or
about it.
if you forget to, you do it or you ask for it to be done when you visit your GYN. Prior to my cyst, I was terrible at regularly checking, except when I went to the GYN and they would do it for me. But ever since the cyst, I'm like, oh, well, you know. And I'm also just checking to make sure that the cyst doesn't grow back because it fucking sucks and it is painful.
Yep. And I guess the point of like me really wanting to bring this to the forefront is she said that if she had heard a story like this, she would have kind of pushed a little bit harder, right?
Yeah.
And you already talked about some of the times that we've talked to medical professionals, and I had to step in and mansplain, stupid ass word, because the thing is that sometimes you just got to push a little bit harder. And sometimes it's kind of like when you go to open a jar and you think, wow, I can't open the jar. But you don't know that if you try one more time, you may have already loosened it enough to open it on the next try.
Right.
But for a lot of women, they're just kind of like, hey, like they told me no, that the doctor, they know what they're talking about. No, you know your body better than these fucking doctors. Trust me, you know your body better than they do.
And I would say it's not just for you, but also if you have children. So anyone watching who has children, and if you suspect that there is something up, push for it. Push to see the doctor who is going to take you seriously, because there's something that I would say that for some moms or for some parents, if they're told no, there's nothing wrong with your kid, it's okay. You're thinking as a parent, no, I know my kid, they're not behaving correctly, or their health just isn't well. I would say go with your gut and don't feel like you're just being the paranoid parent, or you are just feeling paranoid for your own health. I have a family member now who I'm trying to guide her to see that it is okay to seek more help and that she is just not a crazy mom.
Right.
And if you feel like something is not right with your child is about to be 2, get something done now while your child is still young.
Right.
And my mom also had to go through something similar with me when I was a child. I was about 2 years old. They had to do with my tonsils,
Mm-hmm.
that they were enlarged, and the doctor's like, oh, it should be all right. Until one day she went to the doctor, and my mom kept pushing, and my mom was a young mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the doctors was like, yo, we need to take care of this now, or she's going to suffocate in her sleep.
Right.
And had she not pushed,
Right.
you know, I may not be sitting here.
Right.
So, you know, it's not if you don't do something, well, actually, this kind of is a bit of, if you don't do something, you might die. I don't want to create panic.
Right.
But if you feel like you're going crazy,
don't let the doctors gaslight you.
Yeah. I just ask for that third, fourth, fifth opinion.
Yeah.
And also seek out support from someone, whether it is a friend or family member. Because since my cousin is now talking to me about it, I was able to tell her, hey, I'll talk to my mom, because my mom has gone through what you're going through now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of my PSA.
Yeah.
And I'm glad my mom pushed and that I am here.
Yep. Ladies push. And, you know, the sad part about this story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that she said, you know, if she would have seen a story like this,
mm-hmm.
she would have found a way to pay for a mammogram. And this is the kind of
mm-hmm.
shit that I'm talking about. The doctors are more concerned about, you know, getting their next sports car or a bigger house or a prettier, younger wife
mm-hmm.
than sitting there with the patient that's right there in front of your face and taking your concerns, your health concerns seriously. You get one body in this life. This is not like Ghost in a Shell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is not like that at all, or Altered Carbon.
Yeah.
You know, like this is the only body that you get. And so, you know, I think it's really important, you know, and this is a lesson that we all can learn, even for us men, because, you know, us guys, we don't really like
mm-hmm.
going to the doctor. You know me, right? Mm-hmm. But it is important to, you know, if you don't feel right, to honor the warning signs that the signals that your body is giving you, and get the shit taken care of, because shit sometimes will resolve on its own. But what if you guess wrong?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'll be spending the rest of your days, however many of those days you have left, wishing that you would have done something sooner.
Yeah. And Zena makes a good point. You often have to spend a lot of effort searching for a good doctor.
Yep. Same goes for therapists too, right?
Yeah, you do. But what's the alternative of not searching for a good doctor? You know, something fucked up happens.
Yep.
Especially if the reason why you're searching for a good doctor is because you feel like there is a specific issue that you need assistance with.
Yeah. Yeah, word up. So, you know, we wanted to, you know, do something that was, something that you guys can take to the ladies in your life, or, you know, if you're one of the 3 ladies that watch our channel, you know, we wanted to put that out there
mm-hmm.
For you. So,
or if you have a lady in your life, you know,
they all do, because they came out of one.
If you have a significant other,
yeah,
or you know, family or children, anyone,
yeah,
and even just for yourself, like you mentioned, this is not just hey, go talk to your, you know, the females in your life, also for you too.
Yeah, definitely, because, you know, we have a lot of problems with that. So, you know, we wanted to kind of, you know, bring a little bit of a different flavor in episode 44.
Yep.
And of course, you know, there are certain topics I'm like, yeah, she's not going to talk about this. All right. So, you know.
But this one I'll talk about. If it has to do with making sure your lady parts are healthy, I will gladly sit here and talk for hours about, let's make sure, and even for guys, like, just let's sit here and talk about our sexual organs, and let's make sure they're healthy. Yep. We'll also crack a lot of jokes, and that'll be in TSP After Dark.
Yeah.
But
she doesn't like the other. She doesn't like the other.
No. But making sure that we are.
Bruce Bogtrotter likes the other title.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like with I'll just use sexual organs. I think for some, they just don't feel comfortable talking about it. And I feel like when I speak to some women and they start talking about their vagina or their breasts or something's up, and I'm like, yes, please tell me about your vagina. Because I want them to feel comfortable being completely open about what's up so that they don't feel crazy. And like, yes, that happens to you. Is that a normal thing? I don't know. Same with dudes. I don't know. What happens to your penis? Is that a normal thing? Is it not normal? We just have to talk about it more and talk to each other about it more so that you can also bring it up to the doctor. Because I feel like with the GYN, and I think with most doctors, if you don't, they don't know what they don't know. If you feel like there's something off, but you don't know to mention it to the doctor, they're not going to know unless it's something completely obvious. And we're not saying that all doctors are bad. Like maybe there was another doctor be like, oh my God, there's something up. Like the one who told my mom, hey, let's remove her tonsils so she doesn't suffocate in her sleep. But just talk about it.
Yeah.
And like she was saying here, had she seen someone post about it, speak about it, she would have taken it more seriously.
And we're taking it seriously here on TSP. Absolutely. So, any closing remarks, comments, any stories, anything?
Don't be afraid to talk to someone about your penis or vagina or any other body part. Maybe I just wanted the opportunity to say penis and vagina one more time. Or just talk to us about it. Or maybe not. What did I just open? Anyway, I'm hungry.
Yes. And the gas tank on the Z4 is also, the Z4 is kind of hungry for some gasoline. So we're going to go take care of that. Mm-hmm. But, thank you for checking out episode 44. I know it's a little bit different, than what we're normally used to seeing with myself and Captain Paul here.
Makes a good point.
And, I do appreciate your continued support for our platform. If you have not subscribed already on YouTube, please do so now because we need it in the algorithm.
That's what YouTubers do, right? No, like the subscribe button would be there.
Yeah, somewhere.
Something like that. I've seen people do that.
We're just gonna I'm
just gonna copy what other people do.
Yeah, but definitely, also for those that are not watching live, definitely leave some of your stories of identity theft or medical gaslighting. You can leave some of your stories in the comment box below. But we got shit to do, so we're gonna get the fuck up out of here. Thank you for letting us talk our shit. We'll see you on episode 40.
Bye.